Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be talking about the Too Faced Peach Perfect foundation. I don't have the bottle with me and I'll get to that in a second. I'm doing a quick review on this foundation. Somebody asked me to review this foundation. Well, not this one, but Born This Way. I opted out not to even try Born This Way because I have oily skin and it's not for people who have oily skin. So I opted out to try the Too Faced Peach Perfect foundation, which retails for $36. And I thought that this review would be appropriate since right now Too Faced website has 20% off site-wide using code FAMILY20. You can also find all of their products 20% off at Ulta and Sephora. So if you were thinking about trying this foundation, now is a good time. It retails for $36 and with the 20% discount according to the app, it comes out to $28.80. You get 1.6 fluid ounces of this foundation, which is a little bit more than what you typically get in any regular foundation. You usually only get 1 fluid ounce, so you're getting just a little bit more with this foundation. Now, when I was asked to review this foundation, I actually, thought about it. You guys know that I suffer from melia, so I am very weary about trying new foundations and creams and stuff for my face because, certain products will make my melia flare up. This foundation claims to be oil controlling, transfer resistant, and it claims to be a 14-hour wear foundation. Not cakey, just a comfort matte foundation. Now, if you guys don't follow Riza Does Makeup, you guys know that I love her. I follow her on YouTube. She has no idea who I am. That's okay, Riza, but if you're watching this, I love you, girl. I love you. So she has oily skin just like I do, and she kind of did a foundation video reviewing her top foundations that she recommends for people with oily skin. This foundation happened to be on that list. You guys know that I'm obsessed with the Chanel Ultra Le Tint foundation. That is really good for my oils, but it's full coverage. And it is also $60. So it really breaks the bank. So I was kind of, looking for something a bit more affordable that would, kind of give me the same thing. And so I decided to try this foundation. And I didn't buy the bottle because I have ordered frequently from the Too Faced website. And you guys know that usually their samples consist of, for a long time, either their Born This Way foundation or their Too Faced Peach Perfect foundation. And so I had literally a stack of samples, and I had like 3 weeks worth of samples in this foundation, so there was no reason for me to buy a bottle of this, Plus, if I didn't like it, then I kind of had to deal with the whole going back to the store and returning it, which I didn't want to do. I just didn't want the hassle until I knew for sure what my overall thoughts were on the foundation. So I used it for 3 weeks. I actually had to stop using the foundation because it did cause my melia to flare up. I can't tell you exactly what ingredient causes my melia to flare up because I have not been able to pinpoint it. I'm fairly new to this whole, research that I've been doing on melia, because for the longest time my melia would go years without flaring up and then I would get it, but I never knew what it was. So melia, in case you guys don't know, are these tiny little bumps that come, that are all over your skin, usually on your cheeks, around your eyes, jawline. They're the color of your skin, so they don't look like pimples, but it does make you look like you have a lot of texture. And so they don't have a head, so it's not like you can pop them. And according to the research that I've done, you actually have to go to a dermatologist to have them extracted, or just wait until they go away on their own. Or you can use a lot of retinol creams that helps, constantly exfoliate the skin, scrubs, whatever. That's not what this video is about. Let's get back on subject. Anyways, I had to stop using it because it caused my melia to flare up. This foundation does have a scent. It smells like Sweet Peach and Fig, which is the same scent that their whole entire Peaches and Cream line has. The scent does not linger. So if you're somebody who really doesn't like scents in their makeup, then you might want to kind of just test this out at the store before you buy it. Once you apply the foundation, it doesn't stay. The smell, you can't smell it anymore. It dries down pretty fast, but it stays emollient enough where it lets you blend the foundation. The foundation says that you can use your fingertips to apply it or a sponge. I don't like using my fingertips to apply any kind of like makeup. I usually just use my hands when I apply skincare products. I just have very dry hands, and if I have to constantly be washing my hands when I'm doing my makeup, it really takes a toll on the dryness of my skin on my hands. My feet are the same way. I have very dry skin on my feet, but I have that under control because I will usually wear cream at night. I fully moisturize my feet like before I put them in socks and I put on my sneakers for the day. That really has helped control that. But my hands is something that is constantly dry. And obviously I work in an office, I touch a lot of paper, so that doesn't help. So I've only applied this foundation with a beauty blender. It was magical. The foundation was great, and just because it didn't work for me, it doesn't mean that I'm not gonna recommend it to you guys. However, let's talk about the transfer resistant. I didn't find that to be true. So I had several instances where I hugged someone. I'm Latin, and so we hug and kiss people whenever we say hi to them. And I did find that the foundation did transfer a little bit onto their clothes and onto my own. So in that, with that transfer resistant, it didn't work for me. 14-hour wear, yes, it is a 14-hour wear foundation. My hours usually consist of 14 to 16-hour days from the moment I wake up to the moment I get home and actually wash my face. I work out, I sweat like an animal. So I did find that after working out, the foundation separated a little bit around my nose and under my eyes. I did have a little bit of creasing that was happening, but this foundation does not claim to be sweat resistant. Now, I have very oily skin. Let's talk about the oil controlling aspect of this foundation. I found that after 5 hours of wearing the foundation, my T-zone was completely oily. So it helped a little bit with the oils, but not really that much. The reason why I still have positive feedback about this foundation is because those of you with combination skin tone, skin types, may really benefit from this foundation. And it's only $36. So it's not like it's breaking the bank at all. And it's something that you should really consider, something that you may like. It was very comfortable on the skin. I do have to give them that. It did not look cakey. It also claims to be photo friendly, and that is true. It photographs very well. I had no issues blending this foundation. This foundation comes in about 30 shades. So, I mean, I'm sure you can find your color. And I just kind of wanted to give you my overall thoughts on this foundation. I won't purchase this foundation just for the mere fact that it caused my Malaya to flare up. If it wasn't for that, I felt like this would have been a very good alternative, kind of a little bit cheaper, something that didn't break the bank, other than my Chanel foundation. Because, I mean, not many people can spend $60 every time you need new foundation, especially somebody like me who wears makeup every day. So I found that this foundation is a good alternative to that one. Also, this foundation is not full coverage, so you can build it up to full coverage if that's what you want, but your initial application is a medium coverage, which I prefer because I don't have perfect skin, and so I need a little bit of more help in certain areas. However, versus my Chanel one, it's a full coverage foundation, so that's what you're gonna get on first application. You don't kind of have that, in between. But for $36, guys, I'm just saying, I think it's a pretty good foundation. The tube that it comes in has a pump and it's plastic, so it's very travel friendly. For those of you who don't like having your foundation in glass bottles, because yes, glass bottles are much more fragile. They're a lot bulkier when traveling. They do take up a lot of space. So with this foundation, I feel like Too Faced really thought of everything. It's travel friendly, it's in a plastic tubing. It's just, it has a pump and it has a cap. The cap is pretty sturdy because I was actually looking at this foundation at the store. And so it kind of just slides in, but when it slides in, it's almost like airtight. It's what it felt like to me. Then when you release it, you've got that firmness, because what you don't want is for that cap to fly off and then have the foundation, you know, pumping or hitting things and have foundation all over your bag. So that's also something to consider. Another thing that I wanted to talk about in reference to this foundation is just the way that it wore throughout the day. So the way that the foundation dries down is like a velvet finish. It's not like a flat matte looking foundation, which I know a lot of people tend to not like. I personally don't mind it just because I have such oily skin. Eventually it's gonna look wonderful because my oils will start peeking through. But for those of you who don't have oily skin, I totally understand why that matte flat finish is not something that you would like. This is neither. This is just a velvet finish and just makes your skin look very smooth. That's the best way that I can describe it. They have a wide shade range, and it feels velvety when you're putting it on the skin and when you're spreading it around with the sponge. Another thing, I'm sorry, I should have brought water. Another thing I wanted to talk about is if you have a combination to oily skin and pretty much your problem areas are only the T-zone, you're gonna get a lot more oil control with this foundation than somebody like me that just typically just has oily skin all over. So in my opinion, for those of you who have oily skin, 5 hours is better than no hours. Is that you understand what I'm trying to say? I love my Bare Minerals original foundation and I still use it to this day. I always buy the holiday edition, that big supersized jumbo one, just because I love the way that foundation feels on the skin. It feels like you're wearing nothing, but it does nothing for my oils, and I'm oily within the hour, and so blotting sheets come in very handy. But with this foundation, 5 hours, I feel like that's, you know, pretty good versus nothing. So do take that into consideration. Right now, because this foundation is on sale, and if you're thinking of trying it, I hope that this video was helpful. Buy it now because it's on sale. Too Faced doesn't always have these sales site-wide, so I take advantage of it now. There's so many places you can buy this foundation: Sephora, Too Faced, and Ulta. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope this was helpful. Thank you so much and have a good weekend. Bye.